Alright, what is going on, bros? Insomnia from the Mexican Gamers channel. Welcome to the GuerrerosAzteca podcast, a podcast where we talk about the Liga MX and everything going on around the football mexicano. So, this is a straight up audio podcast, no gameplay, no video, nothing like that. The MP3 download link to this podcast is in the description down below. If you feel like downloading it and putting this audio file in your Android and your iPhone and your iPod, then you can do so with the link in the description. So, interesting topics. The quarterfinals have now ended. 4 teams have advanced, 4 have been left on the road. Cruz Azul among those 4 teams that have been left out of the big party, of the opportunity to win the championship this season. Cruz Azul once again, 16 years now without a championship, and that's gotta be really rough for a big club with a huge fan base, with a loyal fan base, and now a frustrated, rightfully so frustrated fan base that Cruz Azul has. It's fair for them to be frustrated. It's only normal. I mean, 16 years without their team winning a title, that's a lot. But also what happened at the end of the game when the Toluca versus Cruz Azul game ended is not justifiable. The fans jumping into the pitch and in the Estadio Azul and pretty much chasing the players down to the tunnel. The players obviously ran away, rightfully so. I mean, I would run away as well. And then the fans went and started trying to fight with the Toluca fan base. That's not justifiable, but it sucks to see that happen, and I feel for Cruz Azul fans, but they couldn't get it done. I think Cruz Azul really lost this series when they went over there and played in Toluca. I mean, losing 3-0 there. If they would have been able to pick up an away goal, then that might have helped them, not only in the sense that, you picked up an away goal, but also motivationally. Instead, thinking you have to score 3 goals and then you can't get scored on by Toluca. That in your psyche, in your head, knowing that Toluca is a very good team. They have a player like Pablo Velasquez, a striker like Pablo Velasquez, who won he was the top goal scorer in the league. Knowing that all those factors, knowing that you probably can't keep Toluca from scoring, that affects you in your morale. And sure enough, the team didn't play all that well, and they tied 1-1, Cruz Azul and Toluca. So Cruz Azul, once again, they're left without a chance to win the championship. They were so close of winning it last season, but we all know what happened in that epic final between them and America. So let's talk about these quarterfinals matchups. What my opinions, what I thought, and what I'm anticipating for the semifinals, which are very attractive. On paper, the semifinals, America versus Toluca, León versus Santos. Whew, man, those, especially the second one that I mentioned, León versus Santos, Santos versus León. Oh man, that's gonna be a great one. On paper, it seems like it's gonna be an amazing semifinal, but that's what we're gonna talk about. So we already kind of talked about the Toluca versus Cruz Azul. Now let's move on to the Morelia versus León. The Morelia versus León quarterfinals matchup was one that I was expecting to be a little bit more even. I was honestly expecting it to be a little bit more even, and the team that really let me down was Morelia. I felt like León was the superior team in both games. They let go a 3-0 lead. They let go of a 3-0 lead in the first game, and I only watched the first half of the first game over there in Morelia, Michoacán. I only watched the first half because I had a wedding to attend. But I mean, I can't believe they let go of that 3-0 lead. I thought from that point it was just gonna be all León, all La Fiera. But sure enough, Morelia had some response. They have great players. Morelia has great players. That's why it kind of let me down. They have Aldo Leao, they have Jefferson Montero, Hector Mancilla, they have Edgar Andrade. Very talented offensive players. They have a solid defense. But sure enough, León was just a better team. And I did, if you listen to the last podcast, I did give my predictions of who was going to advance. I said León was going to advance. I said Cruz Azul. That one was the one that was really tough. Picking between Cruz Azul and Toluca, I ended up going with Cruz Azul in the end, but I had my first pick was Toluca, then I had to change it to Cruz Azul, and sure enough, I was wrong. I picked Santos to go up over Queretaro, and I picked America to go over Tigres. So the only one that I didn't really get correct was a Toluca versus Cruz Azul matchup. I picked Cruz Azul, and Cruz Azul got eliminated. But I had picked Leon because I knew Leon was a stronger team offensively. Leon's weakness, so this Leon team isn't perfect, you know. Wait, let me say this first. Leon is the team that's playing the best football out of these 4 teams in the semifinals. Leon is playing better football in Toluca than America and then Santos. Santos is a close second, but Leon is playing very, very well. The Leon, though, is not a perfect team. Like, you know, no, I don't think any team in the world is perfect, spotless. But Leon is a little shaky when they're attacked, and they kind of were exposed in the first game with Morelia. Morelia, obviously, like I mentioned, they have very, very good players in the offense, even that could cause havoc to any defense in the league. And sure enough, when Morelia decided to finally respond and wake up and attack Leon, they were able to score 3 goals and tie the game just like that. So, but Leon, man, the players they have, the team is stacked. Very, very solid players, you know, from Gallo Vasquez, the golazo he scored in the second game. Golazo. But, I mean, Leon, all of them were golazo. Most of them out of the 6, how many did they score? No, they scored 7. They actually scored 7 because they won the last game 4-0. Out of like 5 out of those 7 goals were amazing goals. You know, the first goal from Chapo Montes in game 1, then Mauro Boselli with another golazo. I mean, man, oh man, Burbano and the goal he scored in the second game. Amazing goals, man. And Leon, it just proves, man, these goals and these plays that they're creating aren't a coincidence. Leon is a very strong team offensively. Like I said, they do have a little bit of a weakness. They're lacking a little bit on defense, and they're going to be put to the test because I think Santos is a stronger team. I mean, they finished second in the league. Santos is a stronger team both offensively and defensively than Morelia. So Santos will be a tougher test for Leon. It makes sense, you know, they're now in the semifinals, so as you're progressing through this thing, things, you know, opponents start getting tougher and tougher, and sure enough, Santos is going to give Leon a run for their money, but we'll see what happens, man. I don't know if maybe at the end of this podcast, I'll give my picks on who I think is going to advance between Leon and Santos and between America and Toluca. I'll give my picks. I haven't really thought about them now that I'm saying this, but I haven't really thought of who I think is going to pass. I'll let you know at the end of the podcast. We'll see. I'll think it through. But yeah, man, this Leon versus Santos matchup is gonna be very, very interesting. Let's get to the Santos versus Queretaro quarterfinals matchup. Well, I mean, all of us expected Santos to pass. We didn't think it'd be much trouble for Santos to pass. At least I didn't. I didn't anticipate Queretaro really giving Santos too much trouble to advance. But hey, man, Queretaro scored 3 goals on this solid Santos team. The aggregate score was 6-3 in favor of Santos. But Queretaro, especially in the first game, they showed some signs of life, you know, after going down. And man, both Leon and Santos have golazos, like the one that Darwin Quintero scored for Santos. I mean, these teams, he scored like 2 golazos. I think he scored one from way outside the box, and then he chipped the keeper in the first game. It was amazing. He chipped the keeper last night in the second game as well. Two nice little chip shots that Darwin Quintero got. And that player, man, the offensive threat that is going to be for Leon, Darwin Quintero, also Oribe Peralta El Hermoso, is going to be very, very dangerous. That's why I say that this matchup is going to be a little bit more interesting than the Toluca America matchup. But again, getting back to the Santos versus Club Queretaro quarterfinals matchup, you know, I didn't expect Queretaro to give them much trouble. Sure enough, they didn't. But they went with their head held up high, Queretaro, and you know, what had to happen happened. You know, what was normal, what should have happened, and Santos, sure enough, they passed over Queretaro, and you know, advanced to the semifinals versus Leon. So let's move on to the other quarterfinals matchup: Tigres versus America versus Tigres. Oh man, so this America team showing up to the Liguilla, #1 in the league after 10 players left to help the Mexican national team get the ticket, qualify to Brazil 2014 in the playoff, the repechaje versus New Zealand. Sure enough, the team, man, it was, you'd have to be not correct. You'd have to be, I don't know, but to think that this, helping out the national team, or not even helping out, just going and 10 players from America leaving the team and going to the Mexican national team along with Miguel Herrera and the entire coaching staff, even the president, Ricardo Peláez, everyone leaving and helping and getting distracted, while Tigres was over here, while every other team mainly was over here, already visualizing and already getting prepared physically and mentally for the Liguilla. America had other obligations. 10 players of America had other obligations. 7 of them starters, the manager, the assistant manager. I mean, all the entire staff, pretty much the entire coaching staff, the president, and 10 players of America were over here with the Mexican national team. And sure enough, it was gonna affect the team. It's only normal, you're over here focused on one thing. Then while you're in the plane, while you already qualified to Brazil 2014, you got to be changing your mentality and focusing on Tigres now. And, sure enough, not only fatigue, but also distractions affected America, and America is not playing well. This America team passed because Tigres stopped doing things in the first game. Tigres had America where they wanted them. Tigres had the lead. They relaxed in the second game. In the second half, they decided to defend their 1-goal lead, and sure enough, America towards the end of the game ties it 2-2, and America had the advantage, the slight advantage going into yesterday's game in the Azteca. So, the aggregate score for that matchup was 3-3. Last night they tied 1-1. So this America is not playing well. As an America fan, personally, I do not like how this team is playing. And let me tell you, man, Toluca is a better team today, at least today, than Tigres. Tigres is a very, very good team. They didn't show it. They didn't show it this past season. They advanced, barely qualified to the Liguilla in 8th place. But this Tigres team has very, very good players. I mean, just the players that they have up front. With Dani Lino, they have Alan Pulido, who's a great, young, talented Mexican striker. He's great. He's very, very good. They have Lucas Lobos. They have El Tito Villa. I mean, they have so much talent up front that it's a very, very good squad. It's a very, very strong squad. Like we all know, they didn't have a good season. But Tigres was gonna be a tough match for America. But America, even with playing how they are, they were able to pull it off. If America was playing like they did throughout the regular season, where they were leading the league table by like 6 points almost, with like 2 less games than everyone else, if that America was to show up in the Liguilla, then they would have had a little bit less trouble with Tigres, I feel. But this America is not playing well. I don't like the way they're playing. They started the game yesterday's game, the second leg. They started it off very, very well. Ruben Sambueza missed a clear opportunity. The ball landed to his left foot, his good foot, his natural foot, and he missed a clear opportunity to put America up very, very early on the scoreboards. Raul Jimenez missed another opportunity, which was kind of debated whether or not there was a penalty. If the penalty existed in that play, I'm not really sure. I don't think so. But yeah, this America team started off well, then they stopped doing things, or they let Tigres start taking control of the game, and they played in whatever pace Tigres set for them. And that's one thing that America can't do, and that's one thing that wouldn't happen during the regular season. It didn't happen during the regular season. America was always the one who would really control the pace of the game. They played the game at whatever pace they felt like it, and the rival really had no choice. They played it at the America pace. But now America, I didn't like how they advanced. I mean, Tigres was left with 10 men since early in the second half, I believe. Lucas Ayala got a red card, or a double yellow card. Sure enough, he had to leave the game. And even with that, America had their opportunities. They go up in the scoreboards 1-0. Hell of a goal by Raul Jimenez. What a great header. Great cross by Miguel Ayun. And then only 5 to 6 minutes later, Alan Pulido off of a toss, pretty much, that Palos threw him the ball after a corner. Ruben Sambuesa, you know, he sends in the cross with the corner. Palos pulls the ball, throws it at Alan Pulido, and it was a hell of a counterattack. He has great pace. I think the America defense was very, very timid in that play. It was very, very poor defended, that counterattack. I think Miguel Ayun gave him way too much space, way too much time to calmly think about what he was going to do. Sure enough, he crosses Miguel Ayun, leaves him without an opportunity to contest a shot, and he scores a hell of a goal. Alan Pulido is a great, great young striker, and I see him as, in my eyes, him, Raul Jimenez, among other youngsters, Escobosa, the player from Santos. They're players that are young, that we'll eventually see them in Europe. That's what I think, but only time will tell if they continue with this level. You know, if they continue to play at a very high level, we'll see those three young players hopefully in Europe and big clubs. So yeah, man, this America team, if they continue to play the way they did in this quarterfinals matchup versus Tigres, I don't think they'll have enough to get by a Toluca team that today, this season, is a stronger team both offensively and defensively. I don't know about offensively so much. I mean, they have Pablo Velasquez again, the top goal scorer of the league. But I think Tigres, with the players they have, they're no pushover. They were 8th in the league, I know that, but it really, I think, you know, any other team would have preferred to face Queretaro like Santos did than to face a Tigres team or a Toluca team or a Morelia team. I mean, this Tigres team, sure enough, there were 8, but they're a very, very strong team, especially offensively, and they have a solid defense. So America needs to step it up if they want to advance, if they want to get the second championship of this year, the Bicampeonato. America needs to step it up, because I don't think, if playing like this, it's not going to be enough to get by Toluca. So they must step it up. All right, bro, so we talked about the matchups, and we talked about what I'm feeling about the semifinals. Now, the semifinals matchups, we talked about the quarterfinals. Now, the semifinals, you know, again, Leon versus Santos, Santos versus Leon, very, very evenly matched. And this one is the more attractive one to watch, in my opinion. This one is the one that should bring more entertainment, and it should just be a thing of beauty for your eyes, man, to witness. But only time will tell. We'll see if both teams continue to play at this level. And man, I'm about to give my picks in a couple minutes, or right after I go through briefly go through the Toluca versus America versus Toluca semifinals matchup. So another very, very evenly matched. Like I said, Toluca, they just gotta keep doing what they're doing. If Toluca has a normal day, Toluca scores. You know, it's very, very difficult to keep Toluca from scoring. Like I said, if they have a normal day, Pablo Velasquez is probably gonna get a goal or two. So it's going to be a tough time for America. Again, I said it already a couple minutes ago. If America keeps playing like they did versus Tigres, and towards the end of the season, America is not going to advance. I don't see them advancing to the finals of the Liga MX if they continue to play not versus this strong Toluca team. I don't see it happening, but we'll have to see. So hopefully America picks it up for not only because I'm an America fan, but so we can see a better semifinals matchup. And I think that'll happen. I think America, you know, watching film and practicing and getting time to rest. I think, well, not really time to rest, because I think this Wednesday one of the matchups starts. It will probably be the Leon versus Santos, but the times haven't gotten announced yet. I know it's this Wednesday and Thursday we get games, but I don't think it hasn't gotten announced. It hasn't gotten announced what team is going to play on Wednesday, so we'll just find out. America must step it up. So my picks, and to end this edition of the GuerrerosAzteca podcast, my picks. Holy cow! Holy crap! A la mais. Who am I going to pick? Santos versus Leon. Leon versus Santos semifinals. Very, very good matchup. Oh, man. Okay, so I got my team. I have Leon advancing in the semifinals. I have them advancing to the finals of the Liga MX, only because I think their offense packs a punch. Both teams have weaknesses defensively. Both Santos and both Leon. I think Leon a little bit more. I think Leon. I'm not here to say that the Leon defense is bad, because they're not bad. You know, a bad defense is the Chivas defense. No offense to Chivas fans, but the Chivas defense was horrible. You know, that's a bad defense. Leon's defense is not bad, but they're shaky. They're not the best that's left out of these 4 teams. So, but also Santos. The Santos defense hasn't proven to be. I mean, they got three goals scored against them versus Queretaro. A Queretaro team that doesn't have that much power offensively. But I have Leon advancing. The factor here, the X factor, is going to be the players, man. The players. Both teams have amazing players, but I think Leon just has more players that are threats to you offensively, and then they also have a very they have a high attack rate defensively as well, such as Gulit Peña. He can not only attack and score goals, but he also defends very well. Gallo Vasquez, it's proven by the golazo he scored on Saturday night. He can score, but he's also very good defensively. And I just think that Leon has more players to hurt you with than Santos. The Santos has the striker of the moment, you know, the best player in Mexico right now, who is Oribe Peralta, and they have Darwin Quintero, another really good player that if you give him one opportunity, you're done. He's gonna make you pay. So, but I just think that, you know, sure, Santos has good players, but Leon has more quantity of good players. So if that makes any sense, so I have Leon advancing, but it won't be easy. It won't be easy, and I have it being a very close matchup. But Leon advancing in the end. So let's move on to Toluca versus America. America versus Toluca semifinals matchup. Oh man. So as an America fan, you know, this might be a little biased, but I feel America will pick it up. I feel America will pick up their level of playing. I mean, you can't advance like that. I already said it a million times, but you can't advance, and you will be forced to pick the level up, or you'll be pushed to the side by this Toluca team, who is very strong. I think Toluca is the strongest team defensively. They're the strongest team defensively, in my opinion, of these 4 teams left in the Liguilla. America is not bad either. Defensively. Sure enough, they ate 3 goals versus Tigres, but Tigres, come on, let's look at the players they have as well. So I think the Toluca, it will be tough to score on them, and it'll be very tough to keep them from scoring. But I believe that America will pick up their level of playing. They will pick up, and America will advance. I feel like the destined final, and the final I really want to see, to be honest with you, is America versus Leon. That's the final that I really want to see. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because both Leon and America have very tough tasks ahead of them. But I have America advancing versus Toluca. It won't be easy again. It won't be very easy. And I'm not 100% confident, because America hasn't been playing well and Toluca has been playing well. But I feel like America will be forced to pick it up. If not, they know if they don't pick it up, they're done. So America, I have America advancing and Leon advancing, and that should be the great final of the Liga MX. But only time will tell, like we've been saying throughout this podcast. And if that's actually the final, then you'll get my picks for the final. But for now, let's not get ahead of ourselves, because Santos and Toluca, they're a hell of a team. So they're both a hell of a team. So thank you guys for watching, man. Let me know in the comments down below who you have advancing in these semifinals matchups right here. Leon versus Santos, Toluca versus America. Who do you have advancing? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to leave me a like if it's not too much to ask for. If you made it through this point in the video, thank you guys so much if you're still listening. And we'll see. Today is the day that Miguel Herrera is supposed to get confirmed as the Mexican national team coach for Brazil 2014. I didn't really mention it because I felt like it's old news. We're all expecting him to be picked, to be confirmed as staying as the manager for Mexico in the World Cup. But man, I don't even. It would actually surprise me, because I know that the Liga MX, it's not the Liga MX, but the FMF, you know, Costino Compián and all them garbage, you know, administrators and this and that. You know, nothing should surprise us coming from them. But this would actually surprise me if they don't pick them. But they will pick Miguel Herrera, so I didn't really feel like mentioning it. Thank you guys for watching. A like would be appreciated, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, bros, and as always, que viva el fútbol. And take care.